Hi, I'm Matt from Roskow Independent Advisory, and today I'm going to tell you about the Smart Investment Matrix. The Smart Investment Matrix for the share market. Here's how it works. Down here we've got the Smart axis, and that goes from 0 to 10, and up the side the Risk axis, which goes from 4 to 10. And the reason why it starts at 4 is because the share market's a very volatile beast, and it's to never be considered a low risk environment. And just because it's risky doesn't mean that we avoid it. It just means we have to be smart about how we manage those risks. And that's what we'll do as we show you the matrix today. This line here is the risky line. And the area down here is more smart, and the area up here is more risk. So you've got to be very mindful of the risky line. This first zone here is below a 5 smart and all types of risk, is the ignorant zone. And unfortunately, too many Australians are caught in the ignorant zone. If you don't know how your superannuation is invested, then you're not being very smart. You're in the lower area of smart, and this is about how smart your strategy is. So the problem with the ignorant zone is that any returns the share market is delivering to your superannuation is probably getting chewed up in fees by high-cost products, usually owned by the banks. So the banks love the fact that you're ignorant. They want you to stay there. But the purpose of what this video is to get you thinking a bit smarter and move you out of the ignorant zone. The next zone is between a 5 and 7 smart, so much smarter than this zone, and it is above a 5 risk because, again, share market is quite risky, and it's called the education zone. Now, this is where you're dipping your toe in the water. Maybe you're buying some shares, you're visiting some online forums, or you've got one of Scott Pape's books and you're reading that. And this is a good place to be. It's far better than being here. But you need to keep in mind that you one day want to graduate from the education zone to somewhere smarter. The next zone is above the risky line, and it's called the danger zone. If you're in the danger zone, you're subscribing to stockbrokers' newsletters and buying and selling shares willy-nilly, maybe getting sucked into buying an online trading system, or you're listening to people like Alan Kohler and Tom Petrosky on TV and trying to decipher what they're saying overnight and implementing their recommendations on their forecasts. The problem with the danger zone is that emotions cloud your judgment. You become greedy when you should be fearful, and you can be fearful when you should be greedy. The next zone is between a 7 and an 8 smart, above a 5 risk, and this is the blinkers zone. In this zone are things like index funds and ETFs and some listed investment companies. It's a smart zone because it's low cost and you don't miss out on market returns, but those in this zone believe that the market's perfectly efficient, which doesn't make sense to us. Which brings us to the smart zone. The smart zone is above an 8 smart, again above a 5 risk, and this is where we take our clients. In the smart zone, you're rewarded for all the risks that you take, you don't miss out on returns, and fees and taxes are managed and minimised. And the best part about the smart zone is you don't need to be able to predict the future in order to have a successful investment experience, and that's why it makes so much sense. There are 2 more zones we want to take you through. The first is the fantasy zone, and in this zone you've got investors or stockbrokers or advisors saying, I'm going to give you something low risk and it's going to be really smart and it's going to deliver high returns. People in this zone suffer from something called overconfidence. They believe they can beat the market. John Bogle, who is the head of Vanguard and an 85-year-old gentleman, is often quoted saying, not only does he not know anyone who's ever consistently beaten the market, he doesn't know anyone that knows anyone. So if you're out there, you're consistently beating the market, please come forward, we're dying to meet you. The last zone is if you ever meet an advisor who says, I've got an investment that's a 2 risk and a 9 smart, you're probably talking to a lying dirtbag like Jordan Belfort, or otherwise known as the Wolf of Wall Street. And we've named this zone the Wolf Zone after him, in his honour. And if you're ever unfortunate enough to meet someone like this, walk away, they're just trying to sell you something. So in conclusion, if you're in the ignorant zone, get one of Scott Pape's books, get yourself into the education zone, or otherwise, come see us, we'll take you straight to the smart zone where life is smarter, safer, and we can help you achieve your goals sooner.